Why don't more billionaires become superheroes in real life?
I can't imagine, Elon Musk as an example, you can't imagine him as a superhero.
I can't imagine him having the energy to do it.
The energy, the gravitas, I just don't, what would it be?
I could imagine him as a super villain.
Okay.
He made flamethrowers, didn't he?
He did.
He built flamethrowers and he sent a car into space, which is not exactly Dr. No, but it's the closest thing I can think of.
So more like a weapons manufacturer. He's basically that. He's that already. He's checking that box.
Is that.
Yeah, maybe he's taken that label already. Okay, this week's guest nearly fucked it up straight away. This week's guest is an Essex-based musical comedian, the mastermind behind the Edinburgh Comedy Award-nominated show Is It a Bird? And the creator and star of hit sitcom Transaction. It's Jordan Gray.
That's me. Hello. Thank you for that succinct and yet lovely introduction.
It wasn't long, was it? It could have been longer, but I thought get to the point with it.
It gets too long sometimes. Those are the main things. It's my name and what I essentially do for a living.
Okay, fantastic. And as long as I've got that right. Thank you for squeezing us in.
Bless you.
Because you've been incredibly, incredibly busy.
It's lovely to do things like this once in a while, just to sit down and have a long form chat. Most of my interactions are quite short with people. Just 1,000 very short interactions. This is nice. To finally have a chat with you.
Well, thank you for doing it. When did you get back from your most recent tour?
Well, we just finished our UK tour at the end of last month. So a couple of weeks since we've been back. And then I just jetted off to Paris. And I'm now off around the world. I'm heading off to the States very shortly. So this is like a little interim week where I can get some admin done and have some long chats.
Some long chats, exactly. Okay, fantastic. I saw during the research for this, you were on a podcast called Private Parts with Jamie Lang.
Yeah.
This was a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
But I did want to make your water drinking experience as seamless as possible because I do remember there was a bit of a struggle opening the can on that one. So it's just a screw top. Screw top.
They're too fancy nowadays. This is old school. This is so old school. It doesn't even have the connecting little plastic thing.
That's
the
it.
Safety catch nowadays. I could leave my cap one place and take my bottle with me, and no one would be any the wiser.
The good old days, the halcyon days of not having it connected. Yeah, it's crazy. But I did just want to make it easy for you because I know that was troublesome to start off with. We are going to start with the opening tradition on this podcast, if that's okay, Jordan. When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a superhero when I grew up, and I don't think I let that go till I was about 17 years old. I was researching discreet, publicly available body armor until I was about 16 years old. I wanted to be a vigilante till I was about 17. But then I also, when you do the math, there's not a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of money. You could gain a lot of wealth in your soul. You can feel better about yourself, but it doesn't line your pockets.
No. So as a career.
Yeah, I don't know where I thought the money comes from. And if you think about it now, how do they get their money? Normally, they're already rich, aren't they? Like a superhero is normally, that's how they can afford to be superheroes.
Yeah, they're funded. They're self-funded.
Yeah. If they haven't got any, superpowers, money is your power in this world. Why don't more billionaires become superheroes in real life?
I can't imagine, Elon Musk as an example, you can't imagine him as a superhero.
I can't imagine him having the energy to do it.
The energy, the gravitas, I just don't, what would it be?
I could imagine him as a super villain.
Okay.
He made flamethrowers, didn't he?
He did.
He built flamethrowers and he sent a car into space, which is not exactly Dr. No, but it's the closest thing I can think of.
So more like a weapons manufacturer. He's basically that. He's that already. He's checking
he
that
already
box.
Is that.
Yeah, maybe he's taken that label already. Okay. Any specific inspiration around your superhero?
I was a big fan of the 1994 video game Earthworm Jim. Do you remember the cartoon Earthworm Jim?
So good. I was talking to my 7-year-old son about this and harking back to the days of this. He was just looking at me like, what are you talking about?
Why does it's like peak 90s wackiness. You had like DuckTales and The Tick and Earthworm Jim were just wild shows. But he was an earthworm that a super suit fell from space. And he climbed into it and gained the ability to talk and have arms and legs, which is most people. That's what most people have, is arms and legs and the ability to talk. Not everyone, bless him, but he had a ray gun and some other stuff. But he would use his own body as a whip because he's a worm. So he would grab himself by his head, pull himself out of the suit, and whip other people with his body and stick himself back in. And I wasn't assuming that I would emulate that specific skill. I don't even know how I would achieve that. But I liked the idea of having a utility belt, lots of gear, and pulling out different, tricks and stuff. Like sort of Wolverine has his claws, but Earthworm Jim would do that, and like a little cocktail umbrella would come out, because it was 90s, it was peak 90s craziness. Inspector Gadget as well.
Oh my God.
I know he's not a superhero, but
look, if we're calling superheroes billionaires that can just afford their own kind of suits, then I think we can call Inspector Gadget.
We've stretched the parameters.
It's not long,
of it.
it's not it's not too much of a stretch to label Inspector Gadget as such. Okay, thank you for that. Never had superhero before,
No?
so I really appreciate it.
I think you've had a lot of liars on this show.
I reckon
I think
so,
most people thought about it a bit.
Yeah, we've had a lot of vets. Vet seems to be a common one.
That's very noble. I should have said vet.
That's all. No, I respect the fact that you've come out with superhero. I think.
What did you want to be?
No one's ever asked me, apart from my brother asked me once.
Yeah.
I struggle to answer that question. That's a horrible question to throw back at me, because I've never really had to think about it.
It's interesting because that's the nature of the podcast. You think about it so much, and you're interested in other people. Maybe that's why you're so interested in this as a conversation with other people.
I have said before that the reason I do this podcast is because I'm like a magpie. I'm trying to cherry pick elements of other people that are inspired and motivated to go off and do something.
Yeah.
In the hope that it inspires me and motivates me to go off and do something.
That's great.
So thank you for putting me on the spot, because I've never really,
It's cool.
in the moment, been asked that question.
You are a nest of shiny things, little shiny trinkets of other people, little trinkets. Aren't we all, really, in a way? I don't think I've got a core personality. I'm just built up of other people's ideas.
I love that. I love that, though. Okay, well, I don't want this to become This Is Your Life, but we are going to go back in time.
It's a good time, it's a good way to go.
Yeah?
I wouldn't be able to answer any forward questions, not necessarily about what occurs in my life.
We could prophesize about what might happen, but let's go back. Okay.
Yeah.
You went to school, and this is where Google and the ability to be able to do some research about you may have fucked me up slightly.
Okay.
Because I read that you went to school in Corringham.
Yeah.
But you've said Thurrock in the past on other podcasts. So where...
This is me finding out in real time that Corringham and Thurrock are not the same. I always thought that Thurrock was...
They're slightly set apart.
Out?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did go to Herd Lane in Corringham, and then I went to Hassenbrook in Stamford. And I always thought Stamford was part of Thurrock. Maybe that's my...
Maybe again, we're just stretching the parameters.
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget's a superhero.
Yeah, and he's from Thurrock.
And Stamford, Thurrock, Corringham are all the same place.
Yeah, like the
No
Essex.
offence to anyone that's literally from those places, but yeah, we'll just group them all together.
Yeah.
But the question I was going to ask you, what were you like at school, and what was school like for you?
Oh, I had a very classically, I was a quintessential nerd. So I very high achieving with very little social standing. And I also had my hair is long and black and curly now, but it is naturally ginger. And when it's not as long, it puffs up. So I had a ginger afro until I was about 14 years old, which would welcome the sort of the social interactions you'd expect of the not so nice kids.
Okay.
So I was in one of those classes that you finish your main work and then you go off and do some more work. Just loved work.
Right.
And I loved English. So English, I was a little poet all the way through all school. I was in a school that had houses. Did you have houses in
Yes.
So what was your whole house were you in?
I was in Ardley.
Who's that? Do we remember?
Oh no, it's not. Do you know what? I don't even know if that was connected to a famous person. Never asked the question.
So ours was all famous people from history. Mary Curie, and I was in Helen Keller. I was in Keller. And Keller, we did not exceed in anything apart from poetry.
Oh, amazing.
So I don't know how you
to be exceeding in though.
Because every type of kid, it's not like the actual Sorting Hat from Harry Potter. It's just random kids. And yet we excelled in poetry.
But excelling in poetry at that age, how was that seen? Did that put you in quote, the popular group of kids? Again, my experience at secondary school, it wouldn't have necessarily done. I love poetry and I loved English at school. So I'm labelling myself as maybe outside of that.
We have a similar experience of school, for sure. It was not cool. But I fancied my English teacher so much, and she took kindly on me. And then I just spent 5 years trying to impress her. And it worked.
It sounds like a really similar experience. What was your English teacher's name?
What's her name? I feel like her name was Miss Hillstead.
Okay. Mine was Miss O'Connell.
O'Connell is a great name.
Miss O'Connell. And she taught skiing when she wasn't at school. Yeah, I fancied her as basically just trying to impress her.
Mine, as far as I remember, she used to ride rollerblades to school. Maybe
Really?
there's
That
something
is
about
super
English
cool.
teachers that they have a sort of a side...
Like an X Games type hobby on the side of it, yeah.
They have to offset the Englishness of it all, because it is just sitting there
That's
reading
the way of breaking
books.
out.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I love that. Okay, and so school was like, I guess, yeah, you are poetry, English, as you say, a quintessential nerd.
I was good at being a nerd.
Okay.
Yeah. I never did any homework until the last second.
Yep.
Effortlessly.
Okay.
And always just high achieving to the detriment of having any friends.
Okay.
Definitely every time.
So you would describe yourself as academic at school?
Yeah.
Okay.
And not on purpose, just I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it when I run on a combustion engine of other people's praise and disappointment. So if someone tells me I'm doing good at something, that I'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So when I got one bit of praise for doing a poem, I did a poem about fireworks when I was 8, and I think everyone said it was great, and I was like, right, that's my life now. That's my trajectory sorted.
Yeah. So
onomatopoeic phrases.
That kind of validation helps guide you. Is that still something that runs true today?
Wholly, 100%, wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Like, so for example, it's really nice to come and have a chat on a podcast, but your enthusiasm of it makes me excited. And I'm like, oh, this is great. All right, let's talk some more. But if you were very, for example, nonchalant when I came in and very, blasé, then I myself would also be quite gloomy and downbeat. But look how excited I am.
I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's making me lean in more as well, which is lovely. We're mirroring each other, which I think is a nice way to go. It's a good human
experience.
Music has played such a big part of your life and your career up to now as well. When was the first time you picked up an instrument?
So I was in school when I was 13. I used to do Michael Jackson impressions. Like I'm a mimic in a way. I used to love mimicking people, and I did it for the Year 9 talent show. And then this metal band without a singer came up to me and said, "Would you like to come and do your Michael Jackson shit over the top of our band?" Which is a weird way of phrasing my skill as a singer. You come and do that shit over the top. And I leaned so far in, and then I was then the lead singer of the heavy death metal, we're more grindcore, but death metal band of the school for 3 or 4 years, and then into college. So I started as the lead singer of a deth metal band.
Wow. Okay.
We were called Silent Feedback.
That's
and
incredible.
Don't ask me what it means, because I didn't know then and I don't know now.
But how did you feel at that time? Was it, again, a bit of, even though they're labelling it like, come and do your Michael Jackson shit over our death metal stuff, bit of validation, bit of being identified for being able to do something well? And
life changed overnight.
Yeah.
Just a nerd. And my personality hasn't changed since I was 14, but suddenly we were really cool. And I had all the black and white makeup and do you remember the goths walking around in the Neo Matrix coats?
Yes,
I had one of those, and I had a big,
the long leather numbers. Yeah, got
as
you.
much. Everything's black and shiny. No shirt, just the leather thing.
Yeah.
Which would look really cool now. Now I've had a boob job, but back then it was just weird. Just like suddenly becoming this archetypal goth cool. Like I lived in a bar, and we do shows at the bar, and I'd stand on the roof of the bar, me and my drummer, just kind of like commanding this crowd of like 400 kids, and then go back to school on Monday and be a little anorak and go and live in the library.
So what was it like putting on an act, adopting a persona? Was there an element of that, or was it just part of you that you were kind of unlocking in those moments? Because to go from, as you say, quintessential nerd, maybe quite reserved and academic, to then unleashing yourself in that way? That
is a really lovely question, because it's also more sort of philosophical, isn't it, really? Are we building who we are as we go, or are there parts of us that are predetermined? I do know that it is very fun to put on black and white makeup. Like I'm a transgender woman, and the trajectory tends to be goth teenager first, because you try out a bit of makeup and you're like, hang on, this is actually quite good. I could get into this. But yeah, definitely it's fun to be a cartoon. I've been a cartoon since I was about 15 years old, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you happy embracing that and elements of that?
It's a safety mechanism, but also, it's fun to be a cartoon. Cartoons sort of bounce back, and you don't need to be bulletproof or anything as a cartoon, because it sort of bounces around. Yeah, I'm just like an idea more than a person, really.
Well, I think, your ability to kind of adopt a persona, there is maybe a defense or a security mechanism there as well at times to have that.
Yeah, I'm interchangeable as an idea for people. It means that if I say something that's maybe slightly abrasive, which is never my intention, I'm never out intending to be controversial, but if I say something that is mildly controversial, you can put it down to it's just a character. Like people don't take it very seriously. And then I get to relax into being more of an earnest person in private.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like being a cartoon. Also, I look like a cartoon. I worked in a school. I didn't work in a school. I was part of a program that would go into schools to teach kids about the LGBT acronym and like, you know, a mum and a dad and a dad. But mostly it taught them how to beatbox. They wanted to learn how to beatbox, so I just teach them.
Okay.
And then at the end, they're really little, and they all, like 100 drawings of me. They all drew me, and the kids all draw me the same. You draw a circle for a face, and then you just go, like for the hair, just do loads and loads and loads of spirals. Because I look like a cartoon character. And I like it. I'm sort of like, my friend Stephen calls me the Babadook. Did you see the movie, The Babadook?
Okay.
I look a bit like the Babadook. Or the Victorian child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is not ideal.
Not at all. I'm not going to agree with either of those.
That's sweet of you.
But yeah, I wonder as well, growing up in a pub, because I heard one of the anecdotes that you were sharing on the Off Menu podcast about the a kebab van burger truck that was outside of your pub that meant a lot to you growing up and having that moment, and then it burnt down. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet that you listened to.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing podcast, and I think obviously must have meant so much to you, your life and your time there, that it also allow you to get used to being in front of crowds and performing crowds, not just performing, but just growing up in a pub with people and an audience.
Yeah, I never thought of that really. But you are socialised differently when you walk home and your living room is filled with people.
There's a degree of conditioning, I would imagine, that happens, whether you're aware of it or not.
And you're like I've got a younger brother and a younger sister, so the three of us, you're like little celebrities when you come in after school with your bags, and all the locals like, oh, there they are. So you sort of put on a pedestal from the moment you get home. And Christmas dinner is shared with 100 other people, you know, because like Bay Marie's full of food. In fact, we didn't even cook Christmas dinner. We'd always order an Indian because my mum had made 100 Christmas dinners the day before.
Fed up. Yeah. Absolutely Christmas dinner now.
Do you have any Christmas dinner sort of, what's it called when you do something over and over again? Rituals?
No, I want to introduce some. Like my mum is an overfeeder. So one of us sitting there basically complaining about needing to throw up because we've tried to eat so much because we don't want to be impolite and stop. Mum getting drunk in the kitchen. They're mums. I shouldn't overshare.
Oh, yeah.
Greek wine from mum. Is that an overshare for mum? She's going to hate that. Anyway, it's just true. Just telling the truth. When did you start taking music seriously? And what was the instrument that you picked up for the first time?
The vocals lasted probably... So all the way through school and college, I was in that band, which is really detrimental to a singer's voice because I don't know how to do it properly. So I'm doing it inwards. I'm doing deathcore inwards, like one might play a didgeridoo, you know, circular breathing. Right. So there's no it's not coming out, which means you can go forever, but you are contracting your larynx a lot, so it's bad for you.
Right.
Then I joined an acoustic band and realised I had to sort of toe the line a bit, so I'd do a bit less so I could sing in the acoustic band. But then all my friends went to uni, and I didn't.
Right.
And they all went to do music at uni, so I realised I was alone without an instrument. So a well-wishing family member got me a Toys R Us keyboard, and I recorded 12 songs on the keyboard. And there was an old school thing I used to do where kids probably still do it now. So it's like a computer mic taped to the speaker of the keyboard, then a pair of tights wrapped around a coat hanger for a pop shield, so that when you're singing, you're not getting the plosives because the computer microphones aren't very good. So just recorded a load of songs like that, like holding up the thing. My friend Ben taught me that. Just weird Scooby-Doo pop style music. And then sort of leaned more into the singer-songwritery type thing at 18, 19 and brought out an album, and then another, and then I think I've done 6 or 7 before I became a comedian. Singer-songwritery stuff. Jeff Buckley, David Gray, Celine Dion type, big belty Meatloaf orchestral acoustic numbers.
Yeah.
But I think the reason things didn't quite, I didn't progress any further with it is because I didn't want to be pigeonholed, but you should want to be pigeonholed when you're pursuing a career in popular music.
Okay.
There's no point in doing an album of 12 different genres because you listen to one, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I like this Afro jazz, this is cool. And the next one's death metal opera. It's like, well, this isn't what I paid for.
It's quite eclectic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of nail you down to one specific area.
Exactly. People take the mickey out of bands like Nickelback or whatever, like, because it's like, it's all the same. It's like, yeah, but it's good.
Yeah.
The song is good. Status Quo, they've been playing one song their entire career.
You know what you're signing up for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was listening to some of the stuff you were performing as Tall Dark Friend,
Yeah.
and Corridors for me.
Yeah?
I love that song.
Thank you, man.
I absolutely love that. But it's eclectic, even in that one singular track. And your
right.
beatboxing as well. absolutely phenomenal. So when you say about going into schools and teaching you beatboxing, I immediately know that you've got that skill set as well that you can call upon.
Boots and Cats. Can you beatbox a little bit?
Should we try it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Absolutely.
Can you give me some?
Well, what I would teach the kids as a precursor. By the way, kids learn so fast. So I'll teach them this, and then next week they're better than me. Okay. So like boots and cats is your bass and your snare. Boots and cats and boots and cats. And you take away the vocal, take away the actual, basically whisper. You're whispering boots and cats. Boots and cats, boots and cats. And you're just getting that bass. Really, once you can sort of hold that breath and keep that rhythm, you can start putting a little bit of bass back in. So like but you're not saying. I mean, I've jumped a few intermediary steps.
I was going to say, this doesn't sound beginner level.
It doesn't sound like Boots and Cats anymore because you've changed. That's the little flip is Boots and. So I used to do a cat for a snare, but then if you put your lips together and like a, that's like an electric snare from the 80s. Or like, it's like a different thing. That's like a rim shot on the side of the mic.
Jordan, look, I'm not a musician, and I feel like you've just gone light years ahead of where we started with Boots and Cats. But I love it. I'm just sat here in awe of your talent.
Why do you do?
Should we?
Try a little.
I should take a sip of water before that feels like a thing.
Right. So even if it's just the basic,
let's just do Boots and Cats because I feel like
Boots and Cats.
We could be here all night if I'm trying to get to the other bits. Right. So I'm just going to say Boots and Cats.
Yeah. I come in.
That sounded great.
Like that, and then like a. Because I got really into dubstep, and I'm
terrified I'm going to spit on you if I do that. Don't worry about the mics. But that's
What's
great.
happening now is I'm being very self-indulgent because I realised how much I remembered that I like beatboxing.
I love it. I know.
But
You've used that as a platform to showcase your skills, but I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me in that adventure.
Right. I mean, all I've done is Boots and Cats to a degree. What was the reality? Because you talk about making 6 or 7 albums. Are you making money as a musician at that point? What's the reality of making money as a musician? Have you got other jobs going? Are you doing this as a full-time endeavour? I can imagine a lot of passion, a lot of energy that you need to push through in that world as well.
Yes, and this is where I want to make sure that I'm doing my best to best represent myself on your podcast because it's such a lovely show and we do get to talk about the deep, the very specific machinations that are involved in having a job in the arts. So like, I was very lucky. I left college straight into a career in music. I didn't go to uni. I just started singing, songwriting and releasing stuff. Creating stuff for yourself is the first bit of advice I ever give to anybody. People waiting around for a manager or somebody to look after them. It's a real weird catch-22, very counterintuitive thing to do. It's like, well, I need somebody to help me get to that next step. So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to meet that person? Absolutely nothing at all. I'm just waiting around for them. Well, it's give and take. So I was on my own for 6 or 7 years, making decent money, playing live shows in and around the area. And then I can't remember why, but somebody got interested and flew me out to Norway to do a little show out there. And then I ended up doing shows for in like a few sort of these casual trips to Barcelona to do little shows. So I was like a little international thing. It was very, very sweet when you're that age. But then and big local festivals and constantly just capitalizing on big festivals by having something to sell. That's a silly opportunity to miss. If you're doing a big show with a massive footfall, it's better than online. Just people will put money into your hand and you give them the product, which is not difficult to do. Sitting on the living room floor with my mum, cutting out thousands of CD covers and getting one of those. Oh my God, the day you get a printer that can print directly onto a CD, so you don't have to cut out the little sticker anymore. So, but then I remember I garnered the interest of a lovely older gentleman who's just passed, a man called Gary Walker of the Walker Brothers, the band The Walker Brothers, very famous 61 to 63, something like that. The sun ain't gonna shine anymore.
Yeah, amazing song.
Beautiful. And he so he introduced me to a lot of people of that era. This is very interesting, sort of a guy at the time, say I'm a transgender woman now, but being sort of a young guy being taken around to meet all these 60s legends that are still touring, Silver 60s tour, man. That's like where the real stuff happened, where the real songwriting happened.
I have to interject quickly. Yeah. Was that a pinch pinch me moment when you're doing that? Or is it in hindsight, can you look back at it and think, what an experience to have had? How old were you at the time?
18, 19, 20.
So what's 18, 19, 20-year-old you sitting there and thinking about having had that experience?
I remember thinking, I do even viscerally at the time thinking, I don't know if this is good or special or not. It feels special, but trying to have the wherewithal to be like, I'm not sure if I'm getting carried away or if this is really, really cool.
Okay.
I very briefly was managed by a guy that was a security tour officer or some weird conflagration of the two for the band Muse. So they came over here and I did a show for them, and that was a bit of a pinch me moment. But I do remember thinking maybe this is what everyone goes through that's doing this for a living. I remember I've always wanted to be starstruck, but everyone that I would be starstruck by died 30 or 40 years ago. So there's no one left there's people I admire deeply and would obviously have massive reverence for, but I don't get a flutter of excitement. I don't think I've had a flutter of excitement for quite a long time.
And that's in music and in comedy now?
Yeah, there's the feelings of sort of fleeting moments of serenity, but definitely not oh my God, this is really happening. It just feels like a job well executed. I do, not to jump ahead too much, but I do sometimes now run into people that are, perhaps we're doing some live television or we're taping a show or something, and people feel like they've won a competition to be there. They're behaving like they kind of won a competition to be there. And it's all fun and exciting, but it feels very, very unprofessional. Maybe I'm not enjoying it enough. Maybe I'm a bit jaded, but I do try to behave like I try to believe and behave like I deserve to be there, rather than this is a fleeting thing that's going to go away.
There's a point on the map. You've worked to get to that point, as opposed to just landed on the map. Someone stuck a pin in, and you're like, this is a
people like
dream.
to say things are a lottery, because there is a small chance of them happening. But you can close that gap by working harder and smarter. But you got to do one or the other at least, if not both.
So what's your stance on luck?
It's a philosophical question. You could attribute things to luck in hindsight, and hope is very, very powerful and important. So you can believe in luck in advance. I think luck only exists in the past and the future. It doesn't exist in the present moment. There's just lots and lots of calculations that lead to the situation that you're in. Because it's the same as believing in fatalism or determinism, isn't it? Are things really, if things are predetermined to happen, let's just sit back and enjoy that.
Yeah. We have got philosophical. It does happen.
I love a bit of philosophy because I don't get to have conversations that deep. Normally people are just asking me, what was it like playing the piano with your penis on the television?
Shit.
Which is a perfectly valid question. But let's build up to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let's lay the groundwork with some deep philosophy first.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe that it's important to believe in something, because I've tried really hard to believe in something for a long time, and I only really tend to believe in results, which is kind of a weak-willed way of living, really, because you work really hard, but I don't know if I have the strength of character to believe in something bigger than myself.
Okay.
I do struggle. I tried really hard to believe in a God or that someone was watching. So it's not for lack of trying, but I don't think anyone's looking after me except the people in my life.
Yeah. The support network, the people closest to you.
Yeah. Wonderful people.
Yeah. I've got some questions around that later on as well.
I like questions. It's good that you got so many questions.
I mean, it would be a shit podcast, wouldn't it? If it
was
just beatboxing from my side, it would be really rubbish.
It'd make 12 very short, good TikTok videos.
Yeah. Which some people are out there to do. Yeah. We're beyond that.
Yeah,
we're beyond that.
We've evolved.
What were you most proud of your time as a musician before the segue into comedy?
Oh, that's lovely. I am very proud of the work up until a point. So despite having just described myself as a bit of a militant atheist, I went through a phase, and I can only, this is one of the things, I don't think young women go through it as much as young men. So it's a generalization, but there is a tendency for young men, and this is from my experience, to sort of lean into a militant atheism delivered by the likes of Ricky Gervais, Richard Dawkins at the time. They were like rock stars to me. And I was like, I don't believe in anything at all other than science and logic. And yet performing music, it never really felt like it felt quite effortless. The execution of it. I don't remember, looking back at the words now, I don't remember writing them. And they feel like they're connected to something that I'm no longer connected to. So it felt like, I remember feeling like, I'm very proud that I was able to to be a conduit for whatever that was then, because it's flown away since then. I did a bit of reality TV and brought out a single that was very manufactured by lots of people.
Okay.
A bit too many cooks spoil the broth type thing. Nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm not my own target demographic for that. It was a bit boring. So I'm proud of everything up until the point that too much money got involved and we started overproducing stuff.
Are we talking about, when you say reality TV, are we talking about The Voice?
Yeah,
okay.
which I am very proud of. I'm proud of that experience.
Okay. But
Just
maybe
the
byproduct of that in terms of the music that you created with involvement around that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm conscious of, there's a lovely image of, the fates, the Greek fates, about like having these little, I think they're supposed to be like little birds or little winged creatures on your shoulder. And I do sort of remember having quite a strong image that I always had one, and then I got a bit too distracted, and then I looked away, and then when I looked back, it wasn't there anymore after I'd done The Voice.
Really?
And I don't know how to get it back, so I've stopped looking for it now.
Okay.
I don't feel I can write a song that isn't layered in sort of 12 layers of irony. Musical comedy is very different than serious comedy. So it's serious music. And so I'm not my aerial isn't tuned into anything ethereal anymore.
Well, this is what I was going to ask, because you get to the semi-finals of The Voice, which again, from outside looking in, I would imagine would propel you to think there's a really serious chance beyond the success that you've already had and the credibility and the name you've made for yourself in that space anyway. But getting to the semi-finals and some of the trappings of success, I guess, that come with that, I was wondering why at that point you then decided, I'm going to pursue comedy.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine you've kind of got that feelings. There's an opportunity there for the kind of claws to get in you and think, oh, now I've got something else, a stepping stone, somewhere else to go with it.
I feel like I have a tendency to plateau when I realise that there's diminishing returns on people's praise and how cool things can be. So I hit a ceiling. Live TV is really exciting, and I love it, and I could do it without any notice. I love the feeling of there being thousands of people, lots of cameras, lots of live recording, because then you're safe. Because if there's a million cameras watching, like I had my boob job done in front of cameras, they're not going to fuck it up. And if they did, there's a record of it. Yeah, so walking onto live TV, it's like if someone, heaven forbid, someone were to put a bullet between my eyes right now, it's on camera. So that's fine. I mean, I'll be dead, which will be bad and sad, but I won't know that. But I like the idea of, I feel very safe when there's lots of cameras on and when my voice is being recorded in real time. I don't like the idea of, what's the word? I like letting go of trying to micromanage everything that comes out of my mouth.
Right.
Yep. Just speak. Just let it happen. It's very freeing. So I got the experience of The Voice. I sort of hit a ceiling where I realized doesn't matter how well I'm able to, whatever I can tap into musically speaking, I'm not gonna. There's not another ceiling of commercial success above this that's gonna feel any different. It just felt quite flat. But then the idea of changing over to a completely new medium with immediacy, comedy is very immediate. You think of an idea, you say it that night. Music, you think of an idea, you labour on it, you work on it, you take it out. But I could try stuff, I could think of a joke now and try it tonight in London in the Comedy Store. So that immediacy felt immediately very rewarding. And then also, I came out as transgender 2 years before The Voice. And once you're transgender and on television, the natural fit is that every Pride festival in the country will reach out and ask for you to play. And I played the Pride circuit, and I was getting very tired, but the audience response wasn't any different. It was a very, very poignant moment. So I would always pride myself on giving 200% and burning myself out like a big Roman candle. Amazing. What's that Jack Kerouac quote, It's just about Roman candles. So like, feel like a firework, and it's amazing. And the audience reaction is incredible. But then if I'm tired and I give 10%, but the audience reaction is exactly the same, I realize is a massive disconnect. They just want to hear some live music. So even though my heart was breaking and I was all like 10% energy, the fact that the feedback loop was the same meant that some part was broken, and I was like, well, then I might as well not be here. Might as well just put on a song. Was there a feeling of loss or liberation at that point? Because I guess it can be liberating to know, all right, well, I've made that choice. It's a conscious decision. I know that levels above are not going to give me what I need from this. So now I can make the lane change and start to pursue comedy. Or after so much commitment,
well over a decade of investing your time and energy and heart into music. Was there any feeling of loss or a feeling of a chapter closing?
It's a stagnation. So a chapter closing would be a treat for there to be some punctuation, but no, it just felt like a slow decline, yet everything else was staying the same. If anything, more commercial success, but just feeling down. And then that culminated, if to be candid, in I'd recorded my single and it got to number 114 in the pop charts, which is I always like to tell people that is one less than the fictional number that David Brent's fictionally bad song gets to. He gets to a number 113. I didn't even get as good as a number that a comedy writer's chosen to sound like a pathetic number. So that's a good sight for me. But then I very stupidly, I walked in front of a car because I was like, the numbers are just, all I could see was numbers. Almost like The Matrix. It's like, unless it's hitting that figure, nothing makes any sense. And I walked in front of a car. I'm laughing because I know the end of this story, but you don't, so it just sounds like I'm being really glib. No. And I was singing to myself, There Is a Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths. And I'm thinking, this is so fucking poetic. I'm such an amazing figure. And I'm going to die and it's going to be so special. And then this car slowed to a very easy halt because it was quite far away. And then when I got to the other side of the road, I realised I was actually humming Waltz in Matilda, the Australian national anthem. So thank God I didn't die humming Waltz in Matilda. What a weird, strange... I don't know why I just hit this pedestrian. And the last recording is just of me just humming the Australian national anthem.
But did that mean... again, I think you're right to say it didn't feel as strong as a punctuation or a chapter closing and then starting again. But did that give you a foundation to build from that moment, which obviously is still so... Yes,
that's a really good point. It is from there, because that was a funny moment. It was a tragic... It's not even sad when you reach that level, and to any people watching and viewers and listeners, you get to that point and people will be familiar with that feeling that it's not a deep, wrenching sadness, it's an emptiness that comes with the occasional these like belly churning sad moments. But that to be that low is more an emptiness. So then there's not really any difference. It feels at the moment like there's not a difference between being alive and not being dead. But it suddenly got flipped into this really cosmically comic moment that I was so mistaken in my seriousness of that moment that then that's it. I was like, I want to be a comedian now. I want to make people laugh because that feels like there's meaning behind it. The music had lost meaning for a long time and it had just become an exercise in commercial success.
But this is really the crux of the podcast, which ties in beautifully. So thank you for sharing so openly about it. But it's losing that connection with meaning and purpose in your work. And that's when people become disengaged and people become unhappy. So being able to identify that, I think, is so important, and being able to connect with the work that you're doing and have purpose and meaning. And it seems like you've now got that connection with what you're doing for work. Yeah, maybe that's not all the time.
No, you've got, and that's the difference between it being a movie and being real life. Is that in real life we still need to like wash our hands and
brush your teeth.
Yeah. The teeth.
I was thinking that this morning, brushing my teeth. I'm like, I don't want to spend 2 minutes brushing my teeth.
Why is no one paying me to do this?
Why is no one
giving me a sitcom about this? But that's so right, because to be able to identify that's so important. And I feel so bad for the people, bless them, that they reach that point, but they don't realize they've reached it. People who've lost the purpose without realizing, so they're driving forward without a real sense of why they're still doing it. I don't know what commercial success looks like, except it feels like there's something very sparkly and effervescent and cool that I haven't yet reached, and I want to be in it. There's a feedback loop of praise that's very enticing, but I do feel there is a connection to something quite special. I feel like when I'm really performing in a flow state, then there's like sort of bubbles coming off me. It's a physical feeling, and just trying to get back to that. But the diminishing returns are very, very real. So I feel a sense of purpose in comedy now, because I love that you can keep creating new stuff. But I had a lot of success very, very quickly, and it exploded. So then the energy it takes to get up starts to get harder and harder, and then you're putting in the same level of energy just to maintain, and then heaven forbid, I've not reached it yet, but then having to put in the same amount of energy and yet things are going down. Oh, that's scary. So I like novelty. I get bored very fast. That's a failing of my character. That's like nobody else's fault. I do just get bored really quickly.
Is that a failing though?
I don't know, I might be being a bit hard on myself.
I feel like you might be being hard on yourself. I think it lends itself so well to the world that you're now operating in. It's a positive trait, I would say.
You know what, thank you for saying that. I think people would argue that the world is exciting enough and all of this is very cool and I've got opportunities that other people don't have, and yet I'm still find it all very humdrum at times. Or at least a feeling of doing live television now would border on feeling like a chore, but it's still the best chore you can do.
Right.
But there's no novelty yet left. That I did something for Gillian Anderson the other month and I got to meet Olivia Wilde, and that was cool because I grew up watching her in House.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling a little flutter of, this is very Hollywood, isn't it? This is very, very cool. But other than that...
But not starstruck?
Not starstruck, more like, that's nice. She wanted to use our bathroom, which is very cool. I don't know why. It felt like a real physical...
But it's so grounded and mundane, isn't it, as well, when you're seeing this superstar come in, or maybe, again, I would... From my perspective, I would see this superstar come in and say, "Can I use your toilet?"
Yeah.
You're like, well, you do. You still have to have it.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
You please do. And she was watching me perform with my wife was there, bless her. So they were watching on a monitor backstage at this big thing at the Barbican, and she and Olivia and Gillian and my wife were watching, and apparently my wife started crying because she was really proud, and then they all gave her a hug. And I was like, why didn't I get a hug from? I'd have rather been backstage watching me do
the hugs.
Yeah, I don't. Like, that would be the cool bit.
Yeah.
But apart from little stolen moments, like I've got to fly to LA next week. I just don't want to. I want to have done it. I want to have already done it.
That's really interesting. Can I be really honest with you? I feel like because you were saying earlier, it's liberating to not always have to think and filter what's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And in the lead up to this, I've been incredibly nervous. I feel Tom has been on the receiving end of this, so I just want to share that with you because I feel like I wanted to bring my kind of best self into this. Mm-hmm. I think contextually, I look at this podcast. It's a passion project. I do it because I love it. But in the lead up to the recordings, I still sit there. We're not on the same level, but I still sit there and think, I don't want to be doing this. I want the elation that I feel of completing the task, driving Tom home or sitting down tonight, having whatever food that I'm eating to replenish the kind of burnout I'm going through.
Right.
But it's in the moment. I love this. This is when I come alive, but it's the trepidation, the feeling of building up to something. Mm-hmm. But I feel also I'm incredibly privileged to be doing this. So it's hard to say it out loud.
Right. That's a good thing to be able to say. We're discouraged from celebrating when things are going well, and certainly discouraged from complaining about the things that we would once have been so excited to do. We get good at struggling. People in the arts, in anything really, but the arts is a really good example because there's so much struggle before there's any return. We get good at struggling. So when the struggle is removed, because we just have gotten good at something, that skill set's no longer, we don't need to employ that skill set anymore. To just show up and do the thing. It's like, what do you mean? What now? Like I've gotten good at the hard bit. Now there's no hard bit, so I'll just keep doing it. So there's something about that. And also there's a lot of research to suggest that we carry maybe something like 5, 6, 7 personalities in our bodies, not split personalities, just the version of us when we're hungry is biochemically a different signature than the one when we're upset or angry or tired or at peace. Right now, we're different people than we will be when we're done. So we won't meet again until the next time we have a chat on a podcast.
How interesting,
So right now it is exciting, and I wish this version of us could communicate into the future, maybe memento style. Just leave a little tattoo that says podcasts are good.
I'm
Stop
game.
complaining.
But
I can't seem to make that disconnect. I get very, very flat and then very, very excited. There was a time when just the work itself felt like its own reward, and that is the best encouragement. We have a mutual friend in Mr. Ross McRain. He's my opening tour manager, my opening tour act, but also was my tour manager for this tour. And he reminds me all the time. He enjoys just when I do TV and I take him along, he'll rinse the dressing room and empty all of the free stuff into a bag with such excitement. Not just to have the thing. He doesn't care about the thing. It's just, look at this, mate. And I'm so jaded. But then just to see him, just a little glint of excitement, it's like, cool, this is bloody great, isn't it? I can't do his accent very well. This is fucking amazing, mate. That's real. And I wish I could bottle that and just have that all the time, because I want to feel the excitement of the little bits in between again. And we had a great time on tour. He reminded me, he's just done the tour with me. And he reminded me what it's like to actually just be with a friend on tour as well. So that's a big part.
Well, that's when you alluded to that support network and the people around you as well, when you've got them reminding you to take joy out of the little things and have that little spark.
Yeah, it's the best thing in life, and yet we can't see it when it's right in front of us necessarily all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel now that you've been accepted in the world of comedy?
Oh, that's a lovely question. Yes, I do. But only because, again, something I said at the top is that I tend to just believe in data and results. And I was handed an award called the Comedian's Comedian Award in Edinburgh in 22, which is voted for by all the comedians at the festival. Most beautiful moment, so wonderful. I was naked at the time, as I often am on stage, but my tour, the producer of the show at the time, he came on also naked, just to, why not, to hand me this award. Because I hadn't won the main Edinburgh Award. And that was a very validating moment to suddenly realise. Jerry Seinfeld said it once in an interview, and I do echo it, that I became a comedian just because I wanted to be one of those people. Like, those people seem special. Clowns seem special. And when I say clown, I do mean Gaulier-trained clowns, not party clowns. I mean, it's great. Good for you, do your thing. But I mean, people that have connected with that sense of fearlessness and can come into a room and pretend to fall over a chair and make the whole room laugh. And, you know, there's something very beautiful about a clown. I think it's the closest thing to an angel in real life. And I'm very jealous of clowns, and I'm surrounded by them a lot in my work. I can't remember the question because I love talking about the clowns in my life.
Well, no, I think it's a perfect... You are getting around it. It's a tangent, but you're coming back to it.
Yeah.
But the question was, do you feel like you've been accepted in the world of comedy?
Yeah. So to be, to have those people enjoy what I do and ask for more of it, or encourage me to keep doing it because they're enjoying it. Yes, that's an untickable box. That's it forever now. I'm never going to get bored of that. That's a wonderful thing to happen. And clowns doubly so, because they're just these fearless people. Like, I try to embody the physicality of a clown, but there's something about, I'd still be scared to embarrass myself. The parameters get bigger and bigger. I don't get embarrassed very easily, but I know there is a limit, but there isn't for a clown. They'll just turn everything into a...
When you say that you embody some of the traits of clowns, like watching your special, Is It a Bird? Yeah. What's your step count? Have you ever, I would assume that's such a stupid question to ask, but you do not stop moving. These physical elements of what you do are so visually engaging, as well as what you're actually saying, and the anecdotes you're sharing, the stories you're telling, and obviously the songs.
Thank you so much. The physicality of it. This I think is of general interest, so I will just explain why.
Please do.
I've never consciously taken a single step on stage deliberately. It is all unintentional. Every movement I do is unintentional. And what it is when you've told a joke 200 times, this again alludes to if you've got a personality where you bore very quickly, you can go into autopilot telling the same joke or singing the same song. But the audience deserves more than autopilot. They deserve you to be present. So what I found myself doing, I didn't realize for a year why, is I'd stand on one leg like a peacock, like a flamingo. I don't know what peacocks get up to in their spare time, but famously a flamingo. Yep. Because then you can't go into autopilot. You're in the room because you're balancing. So then I'm alive and awake and conscious instead of panto, or instead of you might as well be watching TV. This won't happen. This is happening now because I might die. I might fall over. And to push that to an extreme degree, I tell jokes by holding so much tension in my body, and I'm not thinking about it, but I know that it's to stop myself from falling asleep. And so I'll try and balance upside down on the keys and stuff. There's no spectacle element to it that is deliberate.
Right.
Which is cool. I am along for the ride of whatever I'm physically doing. That feels very good. Squatting really slowly while telling a joke, I feel like the whole rooms can feel their calf muscles kind of seizing up, and it's like we're all doing it.
Well, my knees, I've got bad knees. So when I'm seeing you squat to the level that you do, my knees are screaming. That's basically it. But again, I'm engaging in it weirdly in like, yeah, because I was wondering if it's a visual element of what you're doing, but what you're saying is that it's actually helping you be present and engaged.
Right. So it's kind of is a roundabout visual way, because it's like you are seeing something that keeps you locked in. Yeah. But it's not like an animal trying to look bigger for a predator type thing. I'm not literally doing it to some sort of mating dance. Yeah. Maybe it is subconsciously. I don't know. My brain does a lot of things subconsciously, I suspect. It's a physiological adaptation to the job. which is really cool. What's that called? What's it called when something is related to your job? It's an occupational adaptation.
I love that.
A phrase that you and I just made up and have now coined and is now official.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
We did it together.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this question already, but I have to ask it.
Then? Why would you ask it then?
That's such a good point. I know,
you took that so seriously. You're like,
I've been shot down straight away. Yeah, that's a good fucking question, because internally I'm then thinking, why am I addressing this? Can I ask it?
Please. This is your show. You do whatever you like.
Yeah, I'm driving this one.
You are driving it.
Right. So
I can't even drive.
Can you not?
No.
Okay. Is that something you want to do in the future?
No. I've been very spoiled.
Cool. When you're working in the same room and walking into the same room as some people, I'm a couple of years older than you, but I would imagine you have grown up watching films like Shaun of the Dead and watching Nick Frost, as the example I'm going to use now, in films like Shaun of the Dead and in sitcoms like Spaced. Is it, again, a pinch me moment? Is there something about now labelling Nick Frost a peer when you're on the set of something like Transaction, work that you've done with him on the production of that too? Or do you feel like, no, I'm deserving of this? It's not a pinch me thing. It's not a luck thing, clearly.
Oh, great. It's halfway, because I do feel like that peership, is that the word? Peership is earned.
Right.
You have to earn that. But somebody like a Nick Frost would disagree and say, you're here, you're working together, we're working together now. But there's always going to be a sense that you're building towards something. I have something with quote unquote famous people that I tend to do straight away. And I again, same as balancing. I used to do it without thinking, but now I do it deliberately, because it's the only thing I've really connect with them is I ask them if they ever get lonely, and we end up having a 2-hour conversation about the nature of loneliness before anything else. Before, have you got any brothers or sisters, or where'd you like to go where'd you go skiing? I ask people if they get lonely, and everyone has a really different answer to it. So not to betray anyone's, I won't talk about their specific feelings, but from my conversations, people do feel probably at that level and at that height, they're being treated, maybe kept at arm's length, either on a pedestal or for other reasons, by most of the people that they meet. And for somebody to break that, to pop that bubble and let them vent is quite useful. And I've enjoyed those conversations very much. So I spoke to Nick about that, and he helped me a lot, really, because it's a difficult process shooting a sitcom, and there's a lot of it expected of you all the time. And I'm exec producing, acting, writing, changing, all this stuff. And I feel every moment that every single thing that's done, it's my fault if it goes wrong. And that's other people in the crew would not say that. It's all of us, but you still feel a sense of, I've dragged everybody out here to make this thing. It really needs to be great for everyone. And Nick helped me to work through some of those feelings. Yeah, connecting over loneliness is really ironic, but it's very
incredible
useful.
Icebreaker. Like the small talk's out the window. You're straight into such a profound and deep question. I kind of love that.
Thank you. It's not. Do you get lonely? Do you ever get lonely?
I do get lonely.
Yeah.
And you'd be amazed, because I'm surrounded by my kids, I'm surrounded by my partner, I'm surrounded by people all the time. Yeah.
Do you have a strata of people in your life that you would say you can connect with about that? Like, so two comedians, let's say we're in Beijing at a party, two comedians will find each other in that room, and they will talk about the experience of being a comedian.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a life affirming thing. It's like medicine. Do you have a certain type of person in your life, maybe, that you feel like you can connect with about all this stuff, or is it
I've got friends and a close people, a circle around me that I have surrounded myself, maybe accidentally, and I force myself upon them with conversations like this.
Right.
So I overshare.
That's great. That's how.
But that's a nice thing to do, and I hope that enables them to overshare or share in the same way.
Oh, that's it. We label it as oversharing, but it's long overdue. Yeah. People, especially right now, a lot of us walking around thinking, why the hell would anyone want to hear how I feel? The world's on fire. But we need to keep sharing through it. Otherwise, we'll just be weird little burned out husks at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because it won't actually be. There might be a bit of ash at the end, but it's not all going to be ashes and embers. We'll be here still, and we want to still be fully evolved people.
I think if you're motivated to share, the word that I always kind of thinking about earlier when you talked about walking in front of that car and that feeling of emptiness is apathy. When you start to feel apathy, it's a non-feeling. It's an absence of feeling.
Yep.
And I've felt that before. I've had a similar situation in my life that acted again as a foundation to build from.
Okay.
But I think if you're motivated to share, that can only be a positive thing. It's when you shut up and clam up and don't say anything. That's when maybe the alarm bells need to be going off.
Absolutely. Apathy tends to lead to guilt if not shared, because we do think, why don't I care?
Yeah.
All these wonderful things in life, or you don't recognize them. And then some people move through all the way into like an anhedonic state where you just can't feel happiness anymore. And those tend to be the people that, haven't shared it. Not to discredit, I mean, a lot of that's medical, but it's a slippery slope. It's so hard to talk to other people. It's very simple, but very very hard. What's the expression? But it's very, there's easy and hard, and there's simple and complicated. It's very simple, but it's a very hard thing to do. Yeah.
But that's why I love this icebreaker question that you've got, and it levels the playing field immediately.
Yeah.
Because it puts you both on equal footing, even though you've asked the question. If you said it simultaneously, sporadically at the same time, then that'll be fine, but it's not going to happen. You have to instigate. Someone has to ask.
It's also to ask someone if they're lonely could in the wrong hands maybe sound accusatory or make them feel bad about themselves. But what I'm really saying is, I feel lonely. Do you sometimes feel lonely? That's the implied thing. And then it always leads to a conversation. Yeah.
So we've talked about that feeling of looking at people as you're coming up and growing up and then becoming your peers, which I think, outside looking in, I would like working alongside Nick Frost. Again, pinch me moment if it was me in that position. I'm sure there's elements of that as well.
Yeah, it's still...
You've earned it. My God, you've earned it. And the energy and the work that you've put in to get there.
It's still very cool to be working with somebody of that high caliber.
Just cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a cool thing. The acting in the first time in the scene with him, I did not feel like... I felt like I was holding my own, but not... But still like Rocky. I'm still like... It's not that it's a competition, but I'm like... I'm just behind him, which is a cool place to be. That's a great feeling when you feel like you've plateaued and then you've got something to do. Befriending Scroobius Pip when I was 18, 19, rapper, podcaster, legend.
Yes.
He gave me a leg up by playing one of my songs on his show, and I'll always look up to him as a superstar. But to be able to call him up when I'm feeling a bit down or stuff now, it's like those are cool moments. I'm like, take away the everything he's achieved, to be talking to somebody of that caliber, of just so smart. So, people that are able to execute something at that level is very cool. I've always been very attracted to specialists. That's cool. As you get older, I keep seeing this thing on Facebook, this trajectory of the gifted kid to the burned out weirdo is a very common thing because the gifted kid is, you are second to none in your small group. And then as you hit a secondary school, there's maybe 5 or 6 of the gifted kids, and then they're in a class. Then you hit college and we're kind of all the gifted kids because that's who goes to college. And then uni is the specialist gifted kids.
Yeah,
so as you get older,
down.
Someone that's spent their entire life learning to do one thing or execute something really well is always really cool. And you get to meet more of them as you get older because that is the linear nature of time. People get better at stuff the more they keep doing it.
Tell me about how Is It a Bird has impacted your career.
Is It a Bird is my live 2022 Edinburgh show. Was born in Edinburgh. Out of years of figuring out comedy, but the first time it was performed was in Edinburgh, and it went from 0 to 1,000 without interruption. The laws of diminishing returns seemed to disappear mathematically. It just went up and everything I could want immediately. And it was the last time I can remember sleeping happily and well was in Edinburgh every night on a couch that was 2/3 the size of me, with a little vegan sausage sandwich every night, because I'm very much a creature of habit, going to sleep happy every night that this such cool thing was happening. And I had all the young comedians saluting me as I'd go by. So it filled me with a sense of validation. And then it led to, I met everyone in UK TV. They all came to see the show. All these celebrities started showing up. Very, very cool. Ian McKellen came to see the show, bless him.
Oh, amazing. And
he's the show has got a superhero-y tinge to it. And so I make a joke about being I'm an ex-man. I'm an ex-man, but an ex-man. And because he was there, I ignored him all night because I didn't want to bother him. He's in the front row, but he's just there to enjoy. And then I had to reference it because everyone's like, why has no one he's there. It's Ian McKellen's there. So I said, we've got Magneto in. And I started grabbing the mic stand and moving it towards him like he was doing it with his mind. And I kept then pulling it back like, mate, like I'm really, really active with him. Like, leave him alone. And then I asked him to knight me as an honorary X-Man in the middle of the show. And he's incredible, man, because he looked really annoyed. I was like, oh no, I didn't realise I'd overstepped. I bothered him.
You've upset McKellen.
But I don't upset McKellen. He was like, oh, he goes, and he got up like he was really, really bored. And then he snapped into Magneto in his head. And he's like, and I'm like, shit, this is really happening. So I was playing that bit in X-Men 2 where the guy's got too much iron in his blood and he like picks him up and I'm like pretending to float and the whole room's just like, that was a pinch me moment.
Completely ad-libbed as well.
Incredible.
Like,
and then he was just so gracious. And then he came backstage and like gave me some lovely advice and not unwarranted advice, just said some nice things. But that was a month of that. Just meeting heroes, being held in such high regard, offered sitcoms before the thing had even happened, sight unseen, purchased. I'm writing one now. It's 3 years. They bought it 3 years ago and they've just patiently waited for me to be not busy. So yes, it changed everything. And then off the back of that, Friday Night Live on Channel 4, that was given to me having just smashed Edinburgh. But just galvanising the comedy industry. Nobody knew who I am. I did Russell Howard's show a little bit after that. And he said, and it's the first time it had hit me, really. It's a few months later. And he said, you did this, nobody knew who you were. And then you did the show and suddenly we all knew who you were. And that was for the first time I'd heard out of someone's mouth, like someone like that being like, oh, we all know who you are. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know everybody knew who I am. So it's hard to really put into words how much that changed my life. But you shouldn't be given that much praise and attention and success and validation in such big bursts, because then living up to that is that it's so hard to not treat everything you do forever as like, how is this ever going to be any better? Difficult second album syndrome tends to last a long time.
You've got that huge point of comparison, haven't you, forever now, throughout your career. Yeah. And that was exactly what I was going to go back to, is as someone that has said themselves, like you like validation. It's what drives you and can, and also, I guess, impact the trajectory you take or the path that you take. To have gone from that. How do you balance that, or can you balance that?
You have to, I tend to pivot. So I like it being given opportunities to do stuff that I'm not 100% qualified for, and a new flavour of something. To be given the sitcom, we got that sitcom commission just after Edinburgh, magically, having been fighting for it for months and months. Suddenly I had a hit show and the commission came for Transaction. That's different than doing a live show, doing a sitcom. And then now I'm doing a drama. That's different than doing a sitcom. So I get to, there's not many facets of the comedy career where I get to be an underdog still, but it's, the reward to return, the input to output of being an underdog is really high. You put in as much effort as you can, but the reward's so high because the expectations are low. You can't keep smashing stuff and keep feeling that. What else do unless I decided now to change careers and be like a 100-meter sprint runner and be really slow, but get really good at 40 or whenever I end up doing it. Like I now just have to maintain, and that's not as exciting as being an underdog. But then everybody has to go through that. I'm a bit spoiled, really. I'm spoiled. It hasn't impacted me, my personality in any way. Hopefully, I don't think I'm an arrogant person, but I have been spoiled, so I don't get as much out of it as I used to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But I think the fact that you can even identify that and say that out loud is really important, because maybe you can do something around that, or challenge or test yourself in different ways.
What do you think I could do? I sincerely would love to know if you have any thoughts, how you've spoken to lots of people in lots of different positions and places in their career. What have you found, or what do you think would be a good piece of advice for somebody that really would like to reconnect with what they do? Have you had those kind of conversations before?
Yeah, we do. And I think that is, I think the answer to that comes through osmosis, through having the full hour, maybe hour and a half chat with people. Yeah. I think we're all in a rush to try and find the thing. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be one thing. That's
already great advice, because you think, okay, let's galvanize it, make it crystallize into one thing, and I'll just go after that. Well, that's easy to, if everyone had a North Star, we'd all just aim for it. You're right. It's probably piecemeal, isn't it? Little bits, little habits.
It's this term squiggly career. It's the fact that it doesn't have to be a linear path. You don't have to go from A to B. You can find different things along the way. For me, my full-time job is running a recruitment agency. That is what I do. That's what makes me money.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people every day for 14 years that hate their job, that don't want to go to work tomorrow, but they're calling me to ask for help finding another job doing the job they hate. My best ever calls are the people that show just a little gap in their defences, little chink in the armour, that I can start to inspire them to go and do something else. They could say one thing. And I would always say you just don't have to be the same thing forever.
Right.
So you're doing this now, and who knows, in 5 years' time, you're going to do something different.
That's it.
You just need to connect with it.
Yeah.
Thank you for turning the table around again.
Thank you. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. It's a give and take.
Yeah, that is brilliant. I just want to list some of the accolades that Is It a Bird won, if that's okay.
That's very
Is that going to make you uncomfortable? Is it all right doing that?
Nice.
So Edinburgh Comedy Award nominee, which is a big thing.
It's the BAFTAs of comedy.
Yeah.
Russell Kane says it's the Oscars of comedy.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a bigger one in America, but it's the BAFTAs of live comedy.
Yeah. Which I mean, that just having that in itself is huge. I mean, multiple 5-star reviews for that. It's Next Up's biggest award in comedy. Yeah,
which came with the biggest award you've ever seen. It's an inflatable award. I'm trying to find something in this room. It's 3 times the height of me.
Yeah.
It's a big inflatable gold trophy.
Where is that now? Have you deflated it?
It's deflated.
Okay. Yeah.
I've not inflated it for years, actually.
It's the
That'd be a laugh.
logistics of storage. I mean, you have to deflate it at some point.
It's mad.
How'd you get it in the car?
Yeah, well, I'd be the sort of personality to strap it to the top, but then I don't know much about the laws of the road in
because of the driving thing.
I don't drive.
Okay. It was a British Comedy Guide's Comedian's Choice Award.
Comedian, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, exactly. So incredible. We're talking about
one.
that credibility and that acceptance from peers and people that you've looked up to as well. And you also won Channel 4 Breakthrough Comedy Star.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was, off the back of Friday Night Live, that was a huge thing for them and for me. And off the back of that, we just there's an open door policy with Channel 4 now. Every time I want to have an idea of something, we go in and we talk and they put me on their shows. And yeah, a Breakthrough Comedy was I think they made up the award that year. I think it was a new award. But still nice to get it.
Breaking new ground. Why not? Yeah, I think that's... I
will take any made-up award.
Yeah,
any delineation of award is good with me.
And then you go on to headline the London Palladium.
Oh, yeah.
Which, a historic venue, a long line of incredible artists that have headlined that. Yeah. How did that feel?
So I was lucky enough to have taken my friend Ross McGrain and John Oakes with me. So having them there meant I could live vicariously through their excitement when they're walking around this venue, because I'm thinking about the work and getting it done. But then we sung Wonder of You by Elvis Presley just in the sound check, just because it'd be fun. Ross on playing it on the guitar and whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, no, it's like, I do like reconnecting with the fact that I'm super working class. I've never had any money except for the money that I have earned through doing this.
Right.
So to suddenly be on that stage, having earned it all, you're like, wow, people are going to show up here, but they bought tickets to see us and we didn't pay for that. What do you mean? Like, we didn't trick them. That was really cool. And I brought a wolf on stage, like a real one, just because of what a cool thing to do. Okay. Not for no reason.
Yeah.
It worked within the context of the show. Yes. I don't know if you saw what version of the Is It a Bird you saw. I
saw the Channel 4 version, and there was
a little dog.
There was a little dog, because that's what I had in my head, because you did say it was going to be a wolf, and then it was the under-deliver thing.
The under-deliver thing.
What breed of dog was that?
That was a Pomchi.
A Pomchi.
A Pomchi.
Okay, so that was the quote wolf that I saw.
So on the Palladium, we brought out a real, is a wolf, a Malamute wolf crossbreed or something.
Okay, right.
Amazing. But yeah, it was icy blue eyes, like beast. He's incredible.
Very similar to the description you give of your anecdote.
As close as I could get to that exact dog.
Yeah.
But that's a cool thing to do. Just like bring a wolf on stage at the Palladium is, I like little touchstone moments, because I know I'm going to forget everything I've ever done at some point. But when I'm rocking backward forwards in a chair, I'll be like, I brought a wolf on stage at the Palladium once, and they're going to go, shut up.
You'd just be repeating that in the corner.
No, I did though.
It feels like a core memory.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a core memory.
That's locked in for sure. What or how do you deal with being in the public eye now? This feels like a weird thing to share, a bit borderline stalkery, but a couple of years ago I saw you in M&S in Southend.
Yeah, I like M&S.
And I was about 2 seconds away from saying hello, because I'd seen some of the stuff that you've done, and we've got a mutual friend in Paul Shearnicker, who's a very dear friend of mine. Paul. And I was going to say hello, but I guess this leads to a question about over familiarity, and because you speak freely and openly and share a lot. How does that feel when it comes to boundaries? Because I'm also not the person that's going to stop you in M&S and say hello, but it felt like something I wanted to share. But have you built boundaries, and how good are you at doing that?
I have a policy of radical kindness, which I also think is a defense mechanism. So even if someone is quite rude and grabs me and wants a picture, I will lean in 1,000% because it feels safer than pushing back.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be a transgender woman having an argument with somebody in public in the current climate. So I just give people anything they want. And it is to a detriment, and I shouldn't do it as much. But then how ungrateful is that to turn somebody down? Like, is it always a push and pull? And you know what I've experienced is autograph hunters, that people that they're really serious about, they get 500 a week. They're so polite. They're so lovely because they've gotten really good at it. So outside of a TV thing or an award ceremony, they're all there. They're very nice. They don't just come up. They say, "Can I have a picture?" Really quick, really well done for everything. Usually they've got a picture of you from a show. So it's like, you're like, oh, they've really thought about this. It's not just nothing. And the flip side of that is someone that is like, "Are you that bloke from X Factor?" Like, wrong on both counts. No.
But it's almost like you have to help them get to identify who you are.
So I've started doing this thing that I do find really funny, is that if somebody asks something like that, I just say, no, I'm not famous. No. They're like, "Are you famous?" Obviously not. If you don't know who I am, then no. "Are you a bit famous?" You've answered your own question. So I think it's funny to just say that they're mistaken.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It means that they go away, they'll either go away thinking, what a humble human being that didn't even accept my declaration that they're famous, or they'll just won't ever think about me again.
Do you recognise, talking about getting starstruck, do you recognise and are you aware that people now get starstruck around you? How do you deal with that?
I don't think I can feel that, but I do. I know people change their behaviour if it's in a comedy context. If I've got some level of authority over a situation in a writer's room with young people or with new comedians and stuff, they can maybe be they laugh too much at my jokes, which even I know aren't funny. So I have to, I've never said it, but I would like to say to people sometimes, like, I'm not as funny as you're making it seem. Sometimes I'm very funny, but in this context, you're laughing a lot, and I feel like it's just because
there's a degree of pandering because of the stage, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. But you can't blame anybody. Like, I would like to be like that. I'm envious of having that level of excitement around someone. And it's not because that I don't hold people in massive regard. I do. I think they're incredible. I just can't imagine getting gooey around someone.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I get gooey around very, very beautiful people.
Yeah.
But not people that have achieved massive things in their career. That's just cool. That's cool that they've done that.
I'm going to ask a question now about something else that you were nominated for, and this is a recent nomination. So what did a nomination for Best Female Comedy Performance, and I need to look at my notes for this because I want to make sure I get it right. Nomination for Best Female Comedy Performance at the Royal Television Society Awards. What did that mean to you? And this was for your work in Transaction.
Yes, for Transaction. It was like 2 weeks ago at the time of recording. I don't know when this goes out, but it was a couple of weeks ago. It's very lovely thing to be nominated for. What I've found now, and I get quite emotional about it, so I'll just try to be objective, is that I don't really get to enjoy anything I do now without it being quite quickly poisoned by public opinion. Not all of the public, just a certain section of the public. So I woke up, I got the head of comedy at ITV. She called me. I was at the Roman Baths in Bath with Ross. And I was like, I'm in the bath. What's going on? She's like, you got nominated. That's great. And I woke up the next morning to an article in the Telegraph that said I should not be there because I'm transgender. And this is an absolute farce. And I've taken away that position from somebody that deserved it. It just means that I don't really feel the bad anymore. But that's because I've shaved off the top end, bottom end of my experience. So I don't feel the bad, but I don't feel the good because it all feels quite meaningless. You can't let in all the praise. You can't open yourself up to everything, because then if you let in the praise, then that stuff from the bottom is going to hurt as well. So it's a lovely nomination, but as a transgender person now, I don't get to enjoy anything for more than 6 hours before my social media turns into a bit of a bin fire. Everything is toxic. And the very worst things you can hurl at another human being. My only defense mechanism is it's a little bit of a Christ complex in the sense that I'll turn the other cheek to a pathological degree. So I've never snapped back. I learned that phrase from a drag queen the other day. I've never like snapped back at someone. I've never responded and just let the poison come in. That was my experience. So not to drag it down. We're just in a unique time in history. So just happening to be transgender means that my experience wouldn't be the same as a cisgender woman getting that.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. And also it's a nice award. And I took my girlfriend. We opened our marriage, me and my wife, at the beginning of last year. So my wife's not into show busy stuff. She doesn't really get it. But my girlfriend loves it. So I dragged my girlfriend stuff. And we, she made me feel a lot better about it. It's nice to be there. And in the room, everyone's lovely. No one in the room is like, oh, what are you doing here? It's the press. And again, not all of them.
Well, I don't know you well, Jordan. We've literally met an hour and 20 minutes ago. But I think as an achievement across comedy and across screenwriting, I just think it's incredible to have been put forward for that. And I'm sorry that we live in a world where people that would speak in the way that forces you to have that glimmer around it taken away exist. But what an incredible thing to have achieved.
Thank you very much. Yes, I can absolutely. I agree. It's a very cool thing to have achieved. The intellectual side of it and the emotional side, I have to keep those separate. I think intellectually, I agree. It's really cool, and I'm very, very grateful.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
What's your definition of success?
I think it's. Oh, sorry. That's not even your foot.
That's
I keep
all right.
kicking something off screen, but it's not your foot, and I've apologised to it several times. I think it's changed recently. It would have before been, can you maintain this upward trajectory? But mathematically, I know enough about maths to know that if a parabola or whatever it's called hits peak verticality, you cannot get any higher than that. So to maintain growth, I would have called success. Now I would say maybe holding on to a self-awareness or to, I don't know. If I was being true to myself, I'd say I would be jaded and I would say it's achieving the thing that you set out to originally do. But that changes so much. And I do find myself at award ceremonies very often wishing I was home with my wife, just having a cuddle. So success, I think, is maybe balance, maybe finding balance in your life.
That's a through line from nearly 100 episodes that we've done now.
Yeah.
Balance. Because what you start off to do, and then once you've crossed that line, it quickly becomes apparent that we're all in search of something else, but actually getting the balance right and finding a kind of a homeostasis in a way.
Yeah, that's a great way.
Like that's the thing that we should be striving for, maybe.
Yeah.
But you have to get there. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. You have to get to that point to then look back and go, oh, maybe, would you feel like you were striving for balance if you hadn't achieved what you'd set out to do?
That's so true. That I always think happiness, if you were to equate success with happiness, I've always thought that happiness was the perfect state of happiness is having just achieved something cool, currently working towards something cool, and having something on the horizon that you're looking forward to. That's pure happiness. That's everything you could possibly have. Just maintaining balance. I always had a core belief, in very much inside out to core belief, right? That I didn't want to be happy. I just wanted to be successful, and I would be happy to be successful at the expense of happiness. And I think I'm wrong about that now. And it's quite nice to be wrong. And it's quite nice to be wrong, but for the realization to be quite comforting.
Yeah.
Like it is a mistake, but what a lovely mistake to have.
You can find some solace in that.
I can find solace in the realization. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've not wasted my life. I've had a great life, and it's still going. Life's long.
It is, isn't
I used to think it was short. Life's really long. Everything's still great. I'm really underselling how good things are. Things are great. I just happen to be a bit jaded. It's great.
No, I just thanks for your honesty and your transparency, because that is the reality of life, isn't it? And I think again you're sharing.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
success is to be able to actually share it as well.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Being a human.
So you've just, as you said, a couple of weeks ago, finished touring. Is that I'm going to read from my notes because I want to get the title right. Is that a cock in your pocket? Or are you just here to kill me? Yeah,
like the old Hollywood line, is that a gun in your pocket? Or are you just pleased to see me? Western style, second live show.
I loved all your marketing for that. It was just phenomenal.
Isn't it great?
So good.
So pleased with it. So yeah, we just did the UK tour of that, and now I'm going to take it to Australia, and I'm heading out to Austin, Texas, and LA for some live shows as well.
Amazing. And what's beyond that? Is it still touring that show? What other projects have you got coming up in the pipeline that you can share?
Well, I'm working on a drama now. I moved into televised drama, and I think it's going well. Funny thing about drama is you don't know when you finish writing it, because I don't know. Is it drama now? It's like comedy is like, if you're operating under a 30 Rock is my gold standard, so 9 jokes a page. If you've hit that, you're like, well, it's a comedy now. There are 9 jokes a page and it has a story. Drama is like, is it done?
Yeah.
These people are talking. Is that drama? So I'm learning what drama is. And I think I do quite a good Jeff Goldblum impression. And I think I'd like to do a live show, which is an hour as Jeff Goldblum. I don't know what the context is, but I'd like to welcome people, and it will be semi-improvised, talking to the audience, Q&A with Jeff Goldblum, but it's me.
I think that's amazing, because I've heard enough of you on podcasts and obviously from your show doing a bit of Jeff. Is it too much? Is it too much to ask for?
Not at all. It's how I met my girlfriend. She met Jeff at a live show, and she fancies him so much. So that's, and I did it on a live show at the London Palladium, and she saw it, and I think that's why she reached out in the first place.
She was wooed, yeah.
Your scientists, they were so busy trying to make dinosaurs.
It's like dinosaurs and scientists is good, kicking upwards.
Dinosaurs, they were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
That's early Jeff. Him now, he's very...
Zippity blah, yes, hello, hi.
He's like lower and musical. And everything he says, he's like surprised by the words he's saying.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you for having me on this podcast. Yes, okay, all right then.
That's Jeff. He's very musical.
We need to see that. Someone needs to sign that off.
I wonder what it would be. Like just Jeff. It's like a Q&A. I'll be on the piano, Mildred Schnitzer Orchestra, playing a little bit of jazz, talking about his career, but then also answering questions in the voice of Jeff. I think that's what I want to do, because it means I don't have to be myself for an hour. I can be someone else.
Could you share the stage with Jeff? Is it too much? Is it too much if Jeff was also on the stage?
I wonder. I think he'd enjoy
like the
that.
interplay would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I would like to meet Jeff.
Yeah.
He's a singular human. That's very cool.
Incredible.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that wanted to share an impression that I can do.
Then you should. That's radical candor. Wait.
Okay.
Also, what I have to do when I do my Jeff is I say who it is in advance, because I'm nervous about who it is. Don't tell me who it is.
Oh no,
because then you'll know.
No, because we're building it up now. I feel like I'm gonna say who it is.
Okay.
Okay. Or should I just do it?
Yeah.
You're gonna know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Master, please! Nasty fat hobbitses!
That was
the best Keir Starmer I've ever heard in my life. How did you just get him so specific?
It was the posture had to change and everything for that.
Yeah, I like when so there's the embodiment of a character. Somebody said once as well, the reason why Trump impressions usually aren't that good is because you have to kind of like the person that you're doing an impression of.
Oh, for sure.
Because people like themselves. So when you're embodying them, you can't do an impression of someone you hate, because you're like, well, if I am that person, I like myself. So you need to find something you relate. What is it about Gollum that you sort of quite relate to?
Kindred spirits in a lot of ways.
Yeah. He's going after something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
just wholeheartedly, obsessively going after it.
Yeah, one thing. That is admirable.
Was that all right?
That was brilliant.
Yeah, did you enjoy
Sorry,
it?
I did tell him. It was really good.
I have described it as movie quality before.
It is movie quality.
Thank you.
That is really good.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
You up for it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to apologise in advance for how awful the quality of the images are on this laptop screen. I was inspired by a conversation I had, because we were thinking of a game. We play a game and I was stumped. I didn't know what to do that would honour you in the right way.
Oh, sweet. It's like a tailored game.
It's a tailored game.
That's so sweet.
And then I have to say, because I'm a big believer that this is going to work, Rob came up with an incredible idea.
Okay.
It was bodged together just before you came.
Great.
We will have better quality images when we put it on YouTube. But this game is called Is It a Bird?
Oh, that's great. Okay.
So it couldn't be more specific. I'm going to show you some pictures. You have to tell me, is it a bird?
Okay.
As in an actual bird? Or is it a in this case, actress wearing a feathery dress.
Oh, great. Okay,
Is that
great.
okay?
That's great.
So I'm going to show you a zoomed in image,
Oh,
and you just have to say,
if that is a real bird or if it is an actress wearing a dress.
yeah.
A little bit of my subconscious, deep in my subconscious, thinks that might be Björk in a peacock costume.
Oh, you're actually going to try and identify
Yeah,
the
I won't do
actress?
that with all of them.
No, well, why not?
But
I think extra
that,
points.
I think that might be Björk, so
Someone
I'd say
keep
it's not.
score. Someone
yeah.
keep score. Okay, so you're going to say actress in a dress.
It was a bird. It is now an actress in
Actress
a
in
dress.
a dress, okay.
This is great. Oh,
It's Demi Moore. It's Demi
Why
Moore.
did I think it was Björk?
Well, why not? Well, all you had to go on was
the
a
middle,
small
a midriff.
patch of dress, yeah. But you got it right. So
Thank you.
there's no bonus point because you haven't identified who it is, but there is because you've identified that's an actress. Okay, next.
Okay, that's
Is it a bird or is it an actress in a feathery dress?
a bird of. I think that's a bird of paradise, or it's Paloma in a yellow dress. I'm going to say it's a bird of paradise.
It's a bird of paradise, but it's a bird.
I think it's a bird. Oh, it's a parrot.
It's a parrot.
So it's a tropical bird, but not a bird of paradise.
Not an extra point, but you do get the base point.
Thank you, the
Okay,
base point.
next.
I mean, that's got to be a bird in flight, has it? That's got to be a bird.
Has it though?
I think that's a
There
bird
could be some curveballs.
in motion. If not, it's a very that's a bold costume to have
Okay.
it wings outstretched. I think it's a bird.
Here's a bird. Are we saying blue tit?
Because of the
'Cause it's blue.
connotations.
Yeah, I guess so. Why
That's a
not?
blue tit.
But
I reckon
I
it's
was
a blue
really trying to identify it. But okay, it's a bird anyway.
It's
the
a
point
bird.
is there. Next, is it a bird or is it an actress
Well,
in a
that's-
feathery dress?
Unless there's a real curveball here, that's an actress in a dress, because I think I can see some actual sequins.
Shit. Okay, you ready?
Yep. There she
It is. It's Dakota Johnson.
I love Dakota John.
We all love Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
But yeah, feathery dress.
Yeah, but you never know, because some of the birds do. Oh,
You never know.
Oh. That,
The
I
quality
think,
of this image is absolute shite.
I think I know who that is as well. I think that's I think it's a woman in a dress with I think it's a headpiece.
Ooh.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, I think it's a headpiece.
You think it's a woman in a dress? So it is a woman in a dress. It's actually
Oh, it's not.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj, there she is. Not a headdress.
not a headpiece, but thank you.
Still
I
not
like that you're investing in it. So thank you for that. You're really trying to identify.
We're doing all right, aren't we? I'm not getting the specifics.
Thank you,
God.
Rob, for actually counting as well. I appreciate it. Okay, next.
I believe that's a bird in flight. It might be a hummingbird.
Oh, a hummingbird.
I'm so bad at the specifics.
That's all right, but you're getting the points.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing.
Wow,
I
that's
think
a
it's
gorgeous bird
Is
as
it a
well.
hawk or an eagle? I could have googled it. when I
That
looked
could be
at
a
the image.
hawk. Could
Yep.
be an eagle. Could be a finch. But
Yeah, it's a
but
finch on
probably not.
steroids, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I reckon. How are you rating this game so far? I feel
love
like I need
this
to
game.
check in with you.
This is a
Okay,
brilliant
cool.
game.
Brilliant. Next.
Wow.
Is it a bird or is it an actress in a feathery dress?
Oh, feathery. I think that's a feathery dress.
Is it a feathery dress? It is a feathery dress. That is Sadie Sink.
Who is? Oh, Sadie Sink from
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Are you a Stranger Things
Yeah.
fan?
Yeah, love it.
Brilliant. Okay, next.
Woman in a dress.
Woman in a dress. It is.
So
It
close with
is
that one.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Who's in everything at the moment.
Yeah.
Don't you think she's going for a real purple patch? Just
Killing
in everything. There was multiple images of her in a feathery dress, but I've
Okay.
gone with this one. Okay, next. This is so pixelated, it's unreal.
I have to take a punt on a woman in a dress.
Woman in a dress.
Wrong.
Pixelated crow.
It's a,
Or a raven.
Pixelated Crow is definitely a band I
Pixelated crow.
supported in high
And
school.
I think there. Oh no, there's one more.
Okay. Oh, that's the coloration of a lovely kingfisher. I
Hmm.
think it's a woman in a dress, and maybe that's Björk. It might be a peacock.
So you're settling on woman in a dress.
I'm settling on peacock. Björk and a peacock.
Okay. It's a kingfisher.
Oh, it's a kingfisher.
It's an
and I
actual
said that as
kingfisher, and you
well.
would have done it.
Why would I say
you
the
would have done
coloration
it.
of a kingfisher?
Jordan, that's it. Thank
a
you
great
so
game.
much. Scores on the doors, 8 points.
That's
incredible.
How do I compare? Is that sort of average?
We've never done that game specifically.
true.
So yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
This is the problem with bespoke games. There's no leaderboard.
No. Spiritually speaking,
I can't give you that validation on this
fine.
particular one. Right, the closing tradition on the podcast is that my mum sends in a voice note as a question. Now, what we've become acutely aware of is Ramesh Ranganathan also has a podcast where he gets his mum to send a voice note in. I think we started it first.
Okay, I'll let you know.
So I just want to say, Ramesh,
let you know.
we started it first, so stop doing it. Okay, right, let's look.
Lots of people have got mums, and and lots of people have got phones.
Yeah.
And eventually the twain shall meet.
It felt like it was only a matter of time,
Yeah.
didn't it? Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. I've got to play the right file. Okay,
this
so
is sweet.
my mum's name's Lisa.
I don't know why I went to
Hi,
wave.
Jordan. I've been doing a bit of research, not that John would ever think I do, and your semi-final on The Voice was absolutely amazing, I thought. And then I looked at a snippet of your Is It a Bird stand-up, and seriously, they're both amazing. And I wondered what made you the most nervous before going on to perform. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a lovely tradition. Thank you, Lisa. I was well nervous to do The Voice because I'd never done anything to, I think, upwards of 6 million people before. By the time you've done it that many times, getting naked on the television, you'd think getting naked on the TV would be scary, but it's not. It's after about 10 seconds, the audience is like, it's just a naked person now. So long as you keep doing what you're doing, as long as you keep telling jokes. Music for some reason was always more nerve-wracking than comedy. Comedy's, I don't know, they're there to have a good time. Yeah, that's what it is. Comedy is like, they're already there to have a good time. You just got to go out and give it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So more nerve-wracking for you was The Voice.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yes, because also it's a weird format to have 4 superstars sat there looking at you in the front row. I mean, I have Ian McKellen was literally in the front row for me to get naked, and he didn't seem to have any opinion of it, which is quite sweet, really. He just sort of watched. Music was nerve-wracking. I've hit my stride of comedy. Lisa, thank you very much. This is a lovely podcast. You're very kind and very you're very self-aware, which is rare nowadays, I must say. It's a lovely format. Very grateful to just have a conversation that lasts for more than 10 minutes. And I wish you all the best. I would love to come back sometime in the future, should that ever be a thing on the show.
A part 2? I mean, we'd be honoured. It's an open invite. Just come in whenever you like.
You have to do everyone else one more time first, though. It's like
we're all right.
Yeah,
We'll bump
right.
them.
We'll get Ron Mash on.
It has been an absolute honour. Thank you so much for your time. And I think we'll wrap it there. Brilliant. Well done. Jordan, great.
Well done, Tim. Yeah.
Oh, you are an absolute...